This is my new Generac Dr. Pro 26-inch field mower. Just showed up. Wanted to show you what it looks like in the crate. I already pulled the deck out, but basically the mower is strapped down. The accessories are in that box. I pulled the straps off, and there's the deck right there. I also bought the accessory heavy-duty blade, and I measured the blade that's on there, which is about 1/4 of an inch thick. It's a pretty stout blade. And that one's a little... Let's take a measurement of the box and see what the dimension of the crate is, so you know what to expect when this thing shows up. It's pretty large. Anyways, let's take some numbers here. Okay, so roughly we're looking at 43 inches on the small side by 61 inches on the... Okay, so there it is, just pulled out of the crate. Looks pretty good, arrived in great condition. We'll pull the instructions out of the box here in a minute and start the assembly. I opened up the accessory box, and inside it is a cover that goes over the drive pulley and belt on the deck. And then there's the instructions, a spark arrestor, a second key, and let's take a look at those directions and see what's the next step. The first thing I'm going to do, since I have the deck off before I assemble it, is pull off that blade and replace it with the heavy-duty blade. So I use a 15/16 socket and an impact wrench to break it and take it off. And then you put the new blade on and you torque it to 100 foot-pounds. There's the new heavy-duty blade. Quite a noticeable difference in weight between those two blades, I might add. And that is now torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Now we're ready to install the brush deck. So what you need to do is cut that cable tie and pull out the pin and slide the collar off. I'm also going to put some synthetic grease on that shaft to try to keep it from rusting. Once you insert the shaft into the brush deck, you put the collar on and you insert the pin. Okay, the next thing we do is install the pulley belt. You want to make sure it goes over that spring underneath the mower, and there's a big pulley under here. You put it around that pulley, and then you just put it on the big drive pulley for the blade, and you just rotate that, and the tensioner allows it to go right on. Manual, it says you can use oil that's rated from SF, SG, SH, SJ, or higher, and it gives you a chart here based upon the operating temperature. These units are shipped dry from the factory, so you don't want to start it until you put oil in it and make sure the level's appropriate. So you can see from this chart here, you know, it basically starts SA, SB, SC, SD, based upon the year, all the way up to SN, which is the current rating, which is the 10W30, Pennzoil, synthetic. And you can see on the back here, it's rated SN or higher. Exceeds the requirements of SN. So that's what we're going to be using. So here's the oil filler in the dipstick. We're going to start adding oil. We'll let it rest a couple minutes between each filling until we get it to the operating level. The next thing we're going to do is install the spark arrestor. My unit over the muffler has that wire cage. So you use a 5/16 socket, take off the wire cage, and install the screen spark arrestor. That's what it looks like. Take off those 4 bolts and take that wire cage off the muffler. That's what it looks like with the screen installed. Briggs & Stratton recommends 87 octane, no more than 10% ethanol fuel. And so what I'm using is 87 octane, no ethanol fuel, and I'm going to mix that with 2 ounces of Stabil for every 5 gallons, and that should keep the gas fresh. Okay, so this thing's good to go. We have gas in the tank, oil. We checked everything out. The throttle is set to choke. We're ready to give it its initial fire up, and then we have to go through the clutch burnishing procedure for the blade. So basically you run it at half throttle, you turn this on for 2 seconds, off for 10 seconds, and you repeat that for 50 cycles. Okay, I'm checking the air-fuel ratio here. And we completed the clutch burnishings, 50 cycles. 2 seconds on, 10 seconds off. But it seems to run pretty good, except definitely running a little bit late. Let's take it out for a test drive.